I watched some free dinosaur movies. So there's this streaming service, Tubi TV. It's free. You can just make an account and watch whatever they have available. The first movie I watched was Jurassic World. Let me read you the description. In the future, scientists begin to harvest dinosaur organs for human use, but these prehistoric killing machines are about to turn on them. I have my notes on my phone because I cannot remember that far back. The description was promising and it sounded very interesting. The concept is realistic. It's very much something humans would do. Though, thinking logistically, how compatible would a dinosaur organ be in the human body? For starters, size. We don't know if dinosaurs were warm or cold-blooded. They were probably a mix. In the movie, it's said that the fossil record shows that dinosaurs had an advanced immune system like humans. Is that true? I'll put something on screen because I did not look that up before I sat down. I had low expectations, but the plot was good. The acting was, at times, good too. There was a subplot between a couple of the employees which left some mystery and made it a little more interesting. The dinosaur animation was not great. And some of the dialogue was cringy and felt awkward and out of place. The second movie I watched was The Dinosaur Project. When their helicopter is brought down by a flock of huge birds, a team of explorers discover strange creatures thought extinct for millions of years. I really like found footage style movies. It was very cliche. I watched it with my boyfriend and he laughed so much, and talking with him while it was happening made it so much more entertaining. The dinosaurs were so cute and well animated too. Definitely better than the first movie. They met some dinosaurs that were clearly supposed to be Dilophosaurus, but there's no evidence that they had frills or spit venom. That was pretty much popularized by Jurassic Park. Did they swim? Because they swim a lot in this movie. I'll put something, if I can find anything about them swimming or not, evidence of them swimming. Some of the acting was not great and the dialogue was cringy, and my boyfriend really hated the blonde lady, and he thought she was so annoying. The ending was satisfying and tied into the beginning. The third movie I watched was The Dinosaur Experiment. Fossil Ridge is a quaint little town in Texas, 100 miles from the closest city. Home to one gas station, which doubles as a diner, is about to be turned upside down when it is discovered that what up until now was believed to the nothing more than a cattle ranch is actually a breeding ground for vicious velociraptors. When the bloodthirsty dinosaurs escape their encampment, the townspeople must fight to survive from the deadly prehistoric raptors hunting them. So clearly the grammar in that description was lacking. The animation was okay, better than the first movie. Color's not as good as the second. The main character was Native American, which I did like. The soundtrack was pretty cool. The other characters were trashy and bad. Typically the acting was somewhere on the scale of alright to bad. Some of the dialogue was bad. It was very 2000s, and it says it was from 2014, but it was clearly very early 2000s style. The fashion. It was bad, but not unwatchable. Definitely entertaining. I appreciated the diversity. There was a goth girl and a gay black man, and as previously mentioned, the Native American girl who was the main character. Not all of it connected, not everything that was brought up was like really relevant. It was very random. It was probably the most entertaining out of the ones I've mentioned so far, but probably also the worst. The fourth movie I watched was Dinosaur Island. A boy and a girl find themselves stranded in a wondrous lost world where they encounter tribal natives, dinosaurs, and a life long forgotten. I really liked the intro credits. The acting wasn't bad. The dinosaurs were gorgeous. I love that they had feathers. The animation wasn't bad either. The accents weren't great, kind of inconsistent. Not only did they have feathers, but there was a small raptor that was like one of the main character's companions, and it made like bird noises, which I thought was very cute and cool because dinosaurs may or may not have roared. We can't know. And vocal cords and the soft tissue there doesn't fossilize. I liked that they played with that idea. It definitely had a younger target audience than me and the other movies I already watched. I really liked the sci-fi elements, and it explained things. and the beginning was a little confusing, but they did end up elaborating on that and explaining why it was like that later on. It had other prehistoric animals besides dinosaurs, such as nautilus, an early rodent-like mammal, an arthropleura, which is like a giant millipede, and a prehistoric frog-like amphibian. The T-Rex had feathers and it looked amazing. Good movie, the best one yet. Oh, I just remembered what the ending is. The ending was really good. I really like the ending. Honestly, I recommend. The fifth movie I watched was Aztec Rex. A band of 16th century conquistadors must fight for their lives when they realize they're going to be served as sacrifices to a godlike T-Rex. It sounds terrible. This one, we have a lot. This is a lot. The animation, wow, the animation was terrible. The worst. Some of the dialogue and acting wasn't bad, but most of it was very bad. The costumes were so bad, specifically for the native women. Like, the costumes were from Party City. Like, they looked bad. Oh, the temple. The temple looked so bad too. The temple looked awful, but not as bad as the T-Rex. The makeup on the native people looked very generic and meaningless. It was just like lines. There was nothing specific to the Aztecs in this movie. They just seemed like very generic native people. The only thing that made them Aztec was that it took place in Mexico. The Aztecs' clothing, weapons, and housing were not realistic, which, low expectations, but still. The village was really small. Everything was dumb and meaningless, anticlimactic. The natives weren't conquered, but they know the language. There was no, like, language barrier. The natives weren't already conquered, but they knew the language that the people who came to conquer them were speaking. Very bad movie. I do not recommend. The sixth and final movie I watched was Jurassic Prey. After a botched bank robbery, a group of thieves and the ensuing police must band together to fight an unearthed T-Rex at a remote lake cabin. We'll note that in the description, the T-Rex has a dash in between it and it's not T-Rex, but it should be a period because Tyrannosaurus Rex is the full name, like E. coli, E.coli, etc. with other Latin specific names. I didn't want to watch this movie, but when my boyfriend and I watched the trailer, he laughed so hard and he insisted, so we watched it and wow. It got a 1.7 out of 10 stars, and the budget was $1,000. The reviews were so funny. The dinosaur animation was terrible. The blood and fire explosion animations were terrible. The acting was bad. The music was okay. Sometimes I liked it, sometimes it was awful. It took forever for anything to happen. It was so slow paced. It was very entertaining and very funny for all the wrong reasons. The interactions between the characters, the technicalities, it just did not make sense. It did not make sense. However, I must admit I was into it the whole time and me and my boyfriend laughed so hard. My biggest complaint is not the terrible animation, it's not the horrendous script, it is the lack of dinosaur content. The dinosaur wasn't the main focus. It started with a bank robbery, which was like so irrelevant. It was so bad. Terrible movie, but hilarious. So those are the 6 free movies I watched. You can watch all of them on Tubi. Like and subscribe for more content. I can do another one of these. There are so many more movies. Thanks for watching.